Into Yelling from the Couch, I'm Brent Humphreys, and I am joined once again by Stephen Compian. Welcome back to the show, Sports by Compian. Stephen, it's been a little bit since we've hooked up here, but man, how you doing? We got the rough day down there on the name today, but still repping the Bucs. Still love that, see that. But how you doing, man?
Hey, Brett, thank you for having me back. Yeah, very excited to be back on, of course, Yelling from the Couch. Yeah, we've had better football games that I've gotten to see from these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As you know, we had a rough day at the office, as they say. A young Drake Maye may be on his way to winning an MVP in his second year. It's out of control. Handled business and walks away out of Tampa with the W. But other than that, I'm doing all right,
Yeah, man. Tampa Bay, I'd mentioned before here, I was like, if you want to check out Steven's thoughts on the game, he's got a video up about where he talked about Tampa Bay the other day. I wasn't going to put him through it again, but he's like a glutton for punishment, I guess. And he's like, yeah, I'll talk about it to your fans here. So, Steven, we'll go over the game a little bit then.
Yeah, let's talk some Bucs football. So they were looking hot early, Brett. We came out, got that early touchdown, and then the offense pretty much just didn't have the killer instinct, as Baker Mayfield said later on in the game. We didn't have after the game, he's like, we just didn't have that killer instinct to really go out there and start to build on that lead, because the defense gave them a couple opportunities. And I said to my girl right around after the second time they punted, I was like, we really need to have done something there. She's like, don't worry, you're winning. And literally the next play was Mr. Douglas or Washington or who knows, this very fast wide receiver from New England just outrunning the entire Bucs defense. I don't like the angle that Tyke Smith took on that play, Brett. Big play. He needs to be a little wider at us. The safety, he was like right up on him, but he was trying to cover for Morris, who got absolutely cooked on that play. And a lot of fans are angry that Morris was in the game at that point. Should have been Jamel Dean, as they were saying, who's been spectacular this season with already 3 interceptions. He's our best corner by far. So it was a little disappointing that Morris happened to be in there, happened to get burnt on a massive play. And right just like that, the Patriots are back in this game. And just going into halftime, they get another touchdown on a 4th and goal to Stephon Diggs, and that's a backbreaker for this defense, that held them all 3 times at the goal line. And then Stephon Diggs Winfield can't find the ball in the air. Diggs goes up and gets it. It's hard to discredit that. And then boom, second half starts with them. Huge run from Henderson goes off, and just bad angles by everybody on that play. But Sebastian Dennis looked absolutely lost. Monte David gets swallowed up in the crowd. Elijah Roberts went for a ride on that play. So a lot of the boys got absolutely had. And Henderson takes advantage for his first tutty of the day, Brett. That's right. He gets more ugly. He does eventually have the dagger. This Bucs offense just never found their footing beyond the first drive. Ben Bredesen goes down early with a hamstring injury. Looks like he'll be out for a while. And we bring in Michael Jordan. No worries. We're just gonna get Michael off the bench. It's not that Michael, Brett. It's a different Michael. This guy's not as good at his dedicated sport. I'm not gonna blame him, obviously, for this game. Graham Barton, our first round pick from last year, he's struggling. He's struggling at center on that crucial 4th down that we've got to have it play. He ends up blocking absolutely no one. The film is coming out, and that linebacker completely fooled him and slips right by him to go put pressure on Baker in that critical final play. Graham Barton's having himself a tough second season. He actually looked better when we had him out there at tackle than he has at center, and Ben Bredesen looked better at center. So hope to see some improvement from the second-year player there on the O-line. Tristan Wirth got beat around the edge. It was just kind of an ugly day for the O-line. They should have played better. It was nice to have Gedeke back because they were running the ball a decent amount. Tucker ends up being the first running back this season to go over 50 yards against the Patriots, which credit to that defense. They are legit. They're a very good defense that Patriots. Not a lot of big name guys there, but they're all doing their work. Christian Gonzalez is good. The commentators were getting all excited about Emeka beating him a couple times early, and I was like, that's going to be an all-day battle. And sure enough, Christian eventually started to win that battle. Emeka wasn't as open, and dude, Baker's just looking hesitant. He's looking crazy. He doesn't have his 2 best targets, and I think it's all starting to come crashing in on him. He's like just trying to do too much, trying to look too much. Josh Grizzard's got to help him out with the play calling, putting him in a lot of positions where he's like, just 3rd and long, because we're doing so much dumb stuff in 1st and 2nd down. Like, ineffective runs or silly screens to the wrong people. Like, I don't know. Overall, our defense, I feel like, held out okay, but they just kept on getting put on the field over and over again against Drake May, who's eventually going to find a way to tear us apart, and he did.
Yeah, so a couple of things here about this game. Like, the Titans have got to be, like, kicking themselves for getting rid of Mike Vrabel, right? I mean, because
Dude,
half.
completely turned around. It's crazy.
Yeah. And, like, right at the end of the half, like, 1st and goal, he just wasted the play, basically, just because he didn't want Baker and the guys to get the ball back before the half. He wanted to drain every second off.
Yeah.
He did, and it worked.
And he got the tutty in the end. It would have been crazy if we could have stopped him. People might be questioning that last play, but at the end of the day, he knew he could pull something, and Diggs was just going to go up and get it.
And Drake May, last year to this year, the transformation he has had, just to change the scenery for coaching and everything. You know, I know
There was times where it's been talked about much that the Buccaneer fans tend to sell their tickets to away fans, and there's it's Florida, so there's a lot of opposing fans who are retired down there. Multiple times there was breakout calls for MVP for Drake May. Yeah. There was a time in Tampa, let me tell you, in Raymond James, this very season, Brett, where those MVP calls were for Baker. And instead, now we're hearing it for the opposing quarterback in our own stadium, and it makes me sick.
That's got to be disheartening right there. And then Travion Henderson, has the breakout game. He is he had done nothing all season long until Sunday, and that second touchdown run, the dagger you were talking about. He even looks back at Vrabel is it if I run this in or should I get down?
Yeah.
He's just go on, run it in. And Drake May's get down. And anyway, but Tampa Bay kept it close for the most part. New England's tough, man. They're legit. They're legit this year.
Yeah. You can't blame Vrabel for letting this guy score. I actually kind of love that for him. He's definitely now that we're done playing them, I can go back to kind of rooting for Vrabel and the boys. I do like to see him, and I like Drake May, but fuck, man, they made it happen against us. Ugly game, tough get at the office, but we've moved on, Brett. You got to go on to greener pastures. We got angry Bills team that just got smacked as well. So we'll see who's going to come out more angry this week.
Speaking of the Bills team that got smacked around, what was that Sunday? I never seen that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. What was it, 4 or 5 turnovers? And a couple of them in the red zone. They were just sloppy. That was just sloppy ball from the Bills.
It was 16-0 at one point at halftime, I believe. And Devon Achane did whatever he wanted to on that defense. And Mike McDaniel, who was on the hot seat all season long, now they're oh, yeah, this is the guy that, he's probably saved his job now after beating Buffalo like that.
Could be. He might. I don't know if he's going to save it for good. He's got to win a couple more games, but he definitely has the boys trending in the right direction. They're just such a weird, unpredictable team, dude. It's ridiculous. There's too many teams that are like that this year. They are amongst many. They're just impossible to pick.
And speaking of the Falcons and the Colts, the Falcons they had that game won. You talk about an unpredictable team, it's the Falcons.
Yes, the Falcons are very unpredictable. All 3 of their wins, I feel like I've picked against them for, and a couple of their losses. But I was right on this one, and Jonathan Taylor absolutely just goes off in Berlin. Dude, all right, if Jonathan keeps up anywhere close to this pace and he doesn't win MVP, it's just a quarterback award, and let's change the name. Let's stop with most valuable player bullshit. Just call it the most valuable quarterback, and then make a separate award where everybody else could actually compete.
Yeah, because he should get a lot of consideration. I would probably put him as the front runner right now.
He should be the front runner right now. Nobody wants to admit that running back should be the front runner, but he is.
Yeah, right now. Who's the favorites right now? Drake May and is it Mahomes?
And of course, the usual suspects, Patrick Mahomes. Everyone wants to put him in there. He's once again having a great season. You can't take anything away from him, and I think Josh Allen's once again in there as well.
Yeah, I think he kind of took a little hit after Sunday, but
for sure.
But still, Jonathan Taylor is just consistency.
There was a time, Brett, where our boy Baker Mayfield was in that running, and then he's been terrible since. Since I was on Sports by Compian and said that fucking Mayfield was the front runner for the MVP, he fell off a cliff. So that's on me, Bucs fans. I take that one.
Yeah, I think one of the episodes was Baker MVP question mark on this show here, and then maybe I'm a part of the jinx too, and I apologize to Bucs fans as well.
It's very sad. Very sad. We'll see how that race shakes out a little further on.
Another team we can't figure out, the Jets. They trade everybody away, and they go out
and they win.
The Browns. Yeah, what is this?
You know what I was thinking about, just on a separate note, real quick? We'll get back to the Jets.
Yeah.
What is the deal with Dylan Gabriel? This poor kid has it's not fair what's the card he's been dealt. Like, it's not his fault that he got drafted before Shedeur Sanders, and everyone's just calling for this poor kid's head every single week. He's dinking and dunking, but he's doing all right. Well, doesn't he get like 2 touchdowns and over 150 yards every single week?
Yeah, not
Dude,
bad.
that used to be fine for a rookie. Back in the day, people would have been fucking super excited about this new Cleveland quarterback who doesn't throw 1,000 interceptions. But, because it's this modern age of, if you're not like fucking bombing the ball downfield, you're a boring bust of a prospect. I don't know. I just feel like he's been dealt a raw hand by the fans,
Yeah, like you said, it's because Shedeur.
At this point, I'm like, just put Shedeur in there so we can stop hearing about this bullshit.
It was Shedeur Jones back then. Nobody would care, but it's Shedeur Sanders. And everybody's like, okay, we got to see what he's got. He's better than Dylan Gabriel. It's not, like you said, Dylan Gabriel, not bad. I mean, he's not the main problem, Special teams is what the problem was for the Browns the other day.
Didn't they hold on Sportsman Compian? We looked at the stats. Justin Fields was under 70 yards passing. Trust me, I started Garrett Wilson. He did nothing.
He didn't even get a target, I don't think.
He got 3 targets and apparently didn't catch any of them, and then went off injured.
Yeah, that's what it was. He's still got Breece Hall, I guess, who's got to be like, why didn't I go to somewhere else? Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams. But
he's
still there.
Said, I want to stay and win with the Jets, so that's what you're getting, bud. Don't worry, they'll draft him a quarterback next year.
He also said that a lot of teams shoot themselves in the foot. He said, but we usually take the shotgun to our heads. It's like, it's fair enough, I guess,
Garrett, he's too used to losing, that poor kid. But honestly, not a terrible fantasy option when he's been healthy. If they can get him a real quarterback, he's good.
Yeah. And then what was Jacksonville doing against old Davis Mills?
Dude, what happened in that game? So I heard mixing reports that basically Trevor Lawrence throws the last second interception that was just really unnecessary. And that was pretty much how the game wrapped up.
And then Davis Mills runs one in.
Dude, Davis Mills, the champion. The long neck champion himself. Did not see that coming. I picked the Jaguars for that game. I can't defend. The Jaguars, what are we doing? They're another team that's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And Houston, you're thinking, all right, it's at home. That's fine. But you don't have C.J. Stroud. You've got Davis Mills. Well, apparently it doesn't matter because they come back from a big deficit, end up winning the game at home, and Liam Cohen's over here throwing his headset, getting mad, and I'm like, I love to see it.
I love to see Liam Cohen angry as well. Davis Mills, long neck himself. What is this, his 3rd year now?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe he just is taking some time to develop. Maybe he's just done in the waking.
Maybe so. I don't know. It took Sam Darnold however long it was to do this thing, right?
Right.
So,
and it's just like we were talking about Dylan Gabriel. No one gets any time to develop anymore in the NFL. I remember back in the day when we were kids, they used to give these kids forever. Remember watching Eli Manning?
yeah.
Sure, there was some people yelling that he was a bust, but I guess because social media wasn't as prevalent. They're like, whatever. It's Manning's brother. He's gonna figure this out at some point. And sure enough, he kind of did.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
2 Super Bowls, not a bad career. I don't know if Eli Manning would have survived back in the day.
No. It would have been, I would have set him down and had whoever else to take over for him at that point in time. And the Giants, he never won a Super Bowl with him. So the later games, the Panthers, there's another team, what are we doing? You're 5-4 and you go and lose to the Saints?
And what a just absolute. So there was a lot of games that people were scoring 7 points, and that was it. Both those primetime games to 10-7, 10-7. This game 17-7. Defense is showing up lately in the NFL. People playing some really good defense right now.
Not good if you like parlays and you're going player props because there's not really know what's going on.
I think I missed every single one of my picks on fantasy football. Just every single one. Sleeper. I made some picks and didn't hit a single one.
And then the AFC West teams. You're thinking there's 3 teams that's really good, and then Seattle just beats down Arizona 35-0 before you can even blink.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold and that defense, Jackson Smith and Jigba's already got over 1,000 yards already at this point in the season. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I just don't know what's going to happen with that battle this coming up here this week. We got Seattle, we got LA. NFC West might be the best division in football right now.
They've got two of the best teams. Matthew Stafford is also an MVP
But
candidate.
the Niners are sitting around there too, at 6-3 now or whatever. Like they're still good too.
Yeah, and they've got the same problem the Bucs do, is the injury bug. But I think
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's supposed to come back Sunday, so maybe that'll help them out a little bit. We'll see, but that West is going to be tough.
Very tough division, absolutely.
Then you mentioned that game last night, 10-7, the Eagles and the Packers, and it's just like that game, the Broncos and the Raiders last week, 10-7.
I think they need to start having to, if they're going to push and push, and they are going to try to get that 18th game, you got to have 2 bye weeks. You have to. These guys, too many people are getting injured. I think there's tired legs out there. You're expecting to see your stars go out there and do crazy stuff like 200 yards and two tutties for 18 weeks. Like these guys are just going to tire out, and eventually everyone's going to get hurt.
Yeah, it's crazy that you've got to have some breaks for the guys because, I mean, it's not good football right now. We're only at week 10 on some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just defense are dominating, but I doubt it. I think it's just bad execution going on right now and on the offense.
So there was a little bit of news broke yesterday. Joe Burrow returned to practice.
Wow.
So maybe he'll be back. They're hoping he'll be back at the Thanksgiving night game against the Ravens, which that game, if Joe Flacco can get a win this week or next week, that game will be pretty big because the Ravens are coming on all of a sudden. Here they go. Their defense is looking good. Lamar's looking like Lamar. Derrick Henry still hasn't got going, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Baltimore's coming up.
I'm well aware about Derrick Henry not getting it going. He has been subpar this year. Terrible first-round pick for me in fantasy. Kind of sad. He's been all right. Like if he was like a third running back or a second, you'd be like, yeah, he's fine. But other than week 1, he has done nothing to be a first-round pick. So it's kind of sad in that regard. So you're still not giving up on this year then, Brent, huh? You're like, if we can stash up 1 or 2 wins and then we get Burrow back, you guys are right back in it.
I'm a sucker is what I am. Because 2 weeks ago, when they blew that lead at the Jets, I was like, that's one of the worst losses that the Bengals
That was
could
tough.
have. And then the next week, the Bears, they're down. They take a 1-point lead, and you're like,
yeah.
Wait a minute. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. We've got that defense over there.
Dude, what happened on that last play? Like, how does that happen?
I don't know. You know, when you play fundamental football, you wrap the guy up. You don't just throw a shoulder as a 6-foot.
Shoulders? That is such a DB thing to do. It's like just throw a shoulder and hope for the best.
And Loveland's a 6'4", 240 tight end. You know that's not going to take him down. Just bounce off of it and run right in the end zone.
It's also like help a friend out. Like you see a friend tackling, go help a friend tackle and tackle them together as friends. Like you know he's hard to bring down. Get in there with your boy. Make sure that you tackle him on the most crucial play.
You stop them right there. I mean, if you tackle him where he catches the ball, they've got to kick a long field goal.
Yeah.
They're a field goal kicker. There's no guarantee in that at all. And instead, they walk it off, and the Bengals lose another one.
Crazy for fun. What a good time, dude. Great for him.
If only
it was on with you whenever that happened. And neither one of us were expecting it, but hey, shout out to the GM for Cincinnati getting a bargain for his money.
If anybody, if anybody on the defense could make a stop, that is all the Bengals offense needs at this point in time. A stop. And that's what Jamar Chase was saying after the game and Chase Brown. And when they're both calling out the defense, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. It looks so bad. It really does. And Trey Henderson's out now. I don't know what they're going to do defensively. That defensive end you tried to draft, he was like, fuck you guys. I don't want to play defense here. The defense just is bad over there ever since Monte Burfict left.
If you watch any of those Shamar Stewart breakdowns, they've got some breakdowns of him. Like, he is out of position on every play. Like, he has no idea what he's doing at any moment in time on this game. It's like, going to the quarterback. He's like, I'm going to cover this wide receiver. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? He's taking the wrong angles. I mean, it's ridiculous. Fields, when he went for that 2-point conversion, he was on the 10-yard line. All Stewart had to do was go straight down the line to catch him. Instead, he runs all the way to the end zone and then comes back around to try to catch Fields. It's like, no, man. What are you doing? Why are you even out on the field at this point in time? It's awful.
Sad times, dude. Sad times. He's just going willy-nilly. Rebel Willie.
Yeah, and so Travis Hunter's out for the season. So is that a bust for the Jags? I mean, second pick of the draft, and He's already done for the season.
He's going to be one of those guys I think is going to take some time to develop in the NFL. I'm definitely not calling that a bust yet.
No.
But yeah, if you were expecting him to come in and, like everyone was saying, come in and just take off running, which I had my doubts about, that wasn't what happened. But I could see him still developing into a good NFL player.
Yeah, I still believe he needs to pick a position, though, because you can't play both positions in this league and expect to be elite on both sides of the ball. I mean, you could play it, but not as much as what Cohen was had him playing.
True. And Dion, like, he was lined up at receiver, but, like, he was mostly a corner.
Yeah. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be now. Get the ball to Brian Thomas Jr., who hasn't hardly got the ball much at all this year. Fine,
What is going on, Brian? It's very sad.
It is sad, but we got a few more weeks of football here left. I mean, we're halfway through the season now, just over halfway through, which is crazy to think about.
It is crazy how fast it goes.
It goes quick. But you got anything else to add on here, man? Recapping a little Week 10 here action.
No, God bless the Buccaneers. Hopefully, we figure out a way to win in New York. They really need Odin's blessing to have a chance here because I'm feeling like Buffalo's going to come out pretty fired up, and if they play as good a defense as they did against the Chiefs, we're going to be in trouble.
But maybe they come out and lay a turd like they did against the Dolphins last week.
That'd be great.
Florida teams maybe have their number. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
And then the Bengals got the Steelers. Yeah, let's beat them. So,
thanks for having me on, man.
Well, man, that'll do it for us here on Young from the Couch. Check out Sports by Compian on YouTube. Like and subscribe to his stuff, and we'll catch you all next time.
Thanks, Brett.